Welcome to my channel. In this video, we will examine Euripides' classic play, the Bacchae, providing a thorough summary and insightful analysis. Join us as we explore the play's powerful themes, complex characters, and dramatic structure, offering nuanced perspectives that deepen your understanding and appreciation of this timeless work of Greek tragedy. Biography of the writer. Euripides was one of the three great tragedians of classical Athens, along with Aeschylus and Sophocles. He was born around 480 BCE and died in 406 BCE. Euripides is known for his innovative approach to Greek tragedy, often exploring psychological complexity, challenging traditional values, and portraying gods and mortals in a more humanized and flawed manner. Written and publication date. The Bacchae is one of Euripides' later works, written during his stay in Macedonia at the court of King Archelaus. It was composed around 405 BCE, shortly before Euripides' death, and was posthumously performed in Athens in the same year as part of a trilogy that included Iphigenia in Aulis and Alcmaeon in Corinth. Tone. The tone of the Bacchae is intense, dramatic, and often dark, with moments of eerie and ecstatic celebration. The play oscillates between the frenzy and violence associated with the worship of Dionysus and the tragic consequences of hubris and resistance to the divine. It combines a sense of awe and terror with deep psychological tension, leading to a tragic and shocking climax. Setting. The play is set in Thebes, an ancient city in Greece. The main action takes place outside the royal palace of Thebes, with the wilderness and mountains surrounding the city playing a significant symbolic role. The dichotomy between the structured, civilized city and the wild, chaotic natural world reflects the central conflict of the play, the clash between order and irrationality, civilization and primal instincts. Characters. Dionysus. Role: god of wine, fertility, theater, and religious ecstasy. Description. Dionysus, also called Bacchus, is the son of Zeus and the mortal Semele. He returns to Thebes in disguise to avenge the dishonor his family has shown by not acknowledging him as a god. He is both charismatic and vengeful, embodying both gentleness and terrifying wrath. Dionysus represents the wild, untamed forces of nature and the dangers of denying them. He leads the Bacchae, his female followers, into ecstatic rituals. Pentheus. Role: king of Thebes. Description. Pentheus is the central mortal figure of the play and serves as the tragic hero. He is rational, rigid, and dismissive of the new worship of Dionysus, whom he sees as a threat to law and order. His refusal to accept Dionysus as a god leads to his destruction. Pentheus represents human arrogance, hubris, and the danger of denying the irrational or spiritual elements of life. He becomes tragically ensnared in his desire to observe the Bacchic rituals, leading to his downfall. Agave. Role: mother of Pentheus, daughter of Cadmus. Description. Agave is a devoted follower of Dionysus, one of the Maenads, and participates in the Bacchic rituals. Under the influence of Dionysus' power, she enters a frenzied state and unknowingly murders her son. Pentheus, thinking he is a wild animal, her realization of the truth is one of the most tragic moments of the play. Agave's actions illustrate the devastating consequences of divine influence and the loss of self-control. Cadmus. Role: founder and former king of Thebes, father of Agave and grandfather of Pentheus. Description. Cadmus is an old man who has reluctantly accepted the worship of Dionysus, despite the god being the offspring of his daughter, Semele. He serves as a voice of reason and moderation, trying to warn Pentheus of the dangers of defying Dionysus. By the end of the play, he too suffers from the consequences of Dionysus' wrath, as he is exiled and transformed into a serpent. Tiresias. Role: blind prophet of Thebes. Description: Tiresias is a wise and respected seer who understands the power of the gods. He urges Pentheus to accept and honor Dionysus, though his warnings are ignored. Tiresias' acceptance of Dionysian worship reflects the wisdom of acknowledging divine powers and understanding the balance between reason and ecstasy. Chorus of Bacchae Maenads. Role: followers of Dionysus. Description: the chorus consists of women from Asia who have followed Dionysus in his travels and worship him through ecstatic rituals. They represent the collective voice of Dionysian followers, singing hymns to the god and commenting on their action. The Bacchae symbolize the power of nature, ecstasy, and irrational forces. Messengers. Role: various Theban characters who report off-stage action. Description: the messengers provide crucial information about the events that occur off-stage, such as the miraculous powers of the Bacchae and the tragic death of Pentheus. They help move the plot forward by describing events that are too violent or supernatural to be shown on stage. These characters represent the central conflict between the divine and mortal worlds, with the tension between reason and ecstasy playing out in the destruction of Pentheus and the devastation of his family. Summary: Dionysus arrives in Thebes disguised as a mortal priest to avenge the dishonor shown to his mortal mother, Semele, and to assert his divinity. Semele had been doubted by her family when she claimed that Zeus was the father of her child. Dionysus. The Theban royal family, including her sisters Agave, Ino, and Ortano, spread rumors that Semele lied about her divine lover, and that her death struck by lightning was a punishment for this falsehood. Upon his return, Dionysus casts a spell over the women of Thebes, driving them into the mountains to partake in Bacchic rituals, ecstatic worship involving dancing, singing, and rites in honor of the god. These women, known as the Bacchae or Maenads, include his aunts and his mother, Agave. King Pentheus, representing law, order, and rationality, is outraged by the chaotic worship and the abandonment of societal norms by the women. He refuses to acknowledge Dionysus as a god and attempts to suppress his cult, despite warnings from Cadmus and Tiresias, who both accept Dionysus and even don Bacchic attire themselves. Pentheus orders the arrest of Dionysus and his followers. Dionysus allows himself to be captured to demonstrate his power. While imprisoned, he effortlessly frees himself and creates illusions that further confuse and enrage Pentheus. Seeing an opportunity to punish the king for his hubris, Dionysus persuades Pentheus to secretly observe the Bacchic rituals, appealing to his curiosity and repressed desires. Under the god's influence, Pentheus disguises himself as a female Bacchant to avoid detection. Dionysus leads him to a high point where he can spy on the women. However, his presence is revealed, and in their frenzied state, the Bacchae mistake Pentheus for a wild animal. Agave, driven mad by Dionysus, leads the charge against her own son. In a tragic climax, Pentheus is torn apart by the Bacchae in a ritual known as sparagmos. Agave proudly returns to Thebes carrying Pentheus's head, believing it to be that of a lion. As the divine madness fades, Agave realizes the horrifying truth that she has killed her own son. Aftermath. The play concludes with the devastation of the royal family. Dionysus pronounces further punishments. Agave and her sisters are exiled, and Cadmus and his wife Harmonia are transformed into serpents as part of a prophecy that they will lead barbarian tribes against Greece. Themes: divine retribution. The play highlights the consequences of denying or disrespecting the gods. Pentheus's refusal to honor Dionysus leads directly to his downfall. Duality of human nature. Euripides explores the tension between reason and emotion, order and chaos, civilization and nature. The Bacchae represent the insane, instinctual side of humanity, madness and ecstasy. The transformative power of Dionysus brings both ecstasy and destruction. The god's influence blurs the lines between reality and illusion, sanity and madness, irony and tragedy. Pentheus seeks to suppress what he perceives as disorder, but becomes a victim of the very chaos he tries to control. Agave's tragic recognition scene underscores the devastating effects of divine manipulation. Significance: the Bacchae is considered one of Euripides' greatest works, showcasing his skill in blending complex characters with profound philosophical questions. The play serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of extreme skepticism and the necessity of acknowledging forces beyond human understanding. Through the tragic fate of Pentheus and his family, Euripides invites the audience to reflect on the balance between rationality and the primal instincts inherent in all humans. I hope you've understand this lecture. If you have any queries, let me know in the comments section and do share it with your friends.